Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Reach Films podcast. If you're new here, my name is Jeff Fagan, and I'm coming to you live not from my studio, but in my hotel room. I have been sitting here watching the new Apple release today, the Apple keynote, and figured I'd go live and talk a little bit about it because it is somewhat relevant to filmmakers, and so it's something that we can discuss. So in today's podcast, we're going to talk about, number one, what Apple has released that's really relevant towards filmmakers today, and also live streaming with the Sony ZV1, which I am using right now. It's a little bit interesting of what you have to do to live stream properly out of this camera, and we'll get into that in a bit. But let's talk about the main show for today. So if you guys are watching, please let me say hi, let me know where you're from in the chat. I'm gonna go get Facebook activated because Facebook does this weird thing when I do StreamYard to where it will not show me people commenting on the video until I make it public. I can't make it public until I do that. But anyways, now that we are public, let's talk about the release today. So a lot of people were hoping, including me, Apple was going to come out with some of the new Apple Silicon computers, but what it ended up being was really more of a consumer event. So the big show is that Apple released the iPhone 13 Pro, which has 3 better cameras. It also has ProRes video. It has some things like a cinematic mode, which I'm not quite sure filmmakers will really make use of, but I think a lot of the things that they introduced in the iPhone 13 Pro are going to be really good for consumers. The biggest thing for filmmakers is going to be ProRes. Now, I'm going to stop myself and let you guys know that just because the iPhone 13 Pro has ProRes does not make this thing an ARRI Alexa or anything like that. But what it does do is essentially give people who are in that kind of workflow ecosystem that are using ProRes, and it lets you film ProRes on the iPhone. So you can now have use phone footage in your, TV show, movie, whatever you're doing, commercial, and it's a little bit easier on the computer because you're using all one kind of codec. But again, it's not going to give you footage like an ARRI Alexa by any means. But it is pretty cool that they did that. So there's a few new things on the iPhone 13, which I have been waiting to upgrade my phone to. Let me pull that up here. And boom. So we have, excuse the slowness on here, I'm trying to bring up the screenshots. Come on. This is so hard on a laptop. And here we go. Okay, so we have the wide angle lens, which is a 1.5 aperture. They upgraded all of the cameras on the iPhone Pro Max, or the iPhone 13 Pro and Pro Max. Really, it seems like the Pro version of this iPhone is the only way to go. So they have the 3 cameras. We have the wide right there. We have the ultra wide at 1.8. Oop, I don't mean to zoom in there. And we also have the telephoto. So they've got some new lenses in the iPhone Pro. The one thing with ProRes and everything being added to this phone, it's interesting that they're not putting a much bigger sensor in, because I think although Apple tries to tout, and they had Greg Fraser, an amazing DP, come out and show what the iPhone 13 Pro is capable of, but it's still iPhone footage, even if it's well lit, it's got ProRes, it's still iPhone footage. So I think it'll open up filmmaking for, a newer generation of filmmakers who want to get into it and maybe don't have access to cameras. But I don't think it's the solution that everyone's going to go film movies on an iPhone 13 Pro. And it's funny when I see them market it as if that's what it's going to do. Oh, Julian's here. Julian, what's going on, man? Long time no speak. Hope you're doing well, man. I saw it was your birthday, so happy belated birthday. But yeah, so that is the big update for filmmakers. It was kind of upsetting because we have the... here, let me pull me. So it was a little upsetting because we thought we were going to get the new Apple Silicon Macs today. Really all that there was a new regular iPad, and the big update was they made it faster and they added USB-C to it, which quite frankly, they should be doing that to every product they have. I don't know why the iPhone they have not put the USB-C on there, and I think that's kind of bad. That's really bad that they haven't done that. But not many big updates other than the iPhone. The iPhone's faster, it's got a better graphics processor, but it's all the things that you can come to expect. I think what's kind of disappointing is I think a lot of us thought that ProRes RAW was going to be coming to the iPhone 13 Pro at least, and it's really just ProRes. Again, that's better than what we've had, but it's not exactly, at least from my understanding, what I wanted. From my understanding of a lot of my friends, what they want, I think they wanted something like ProRes RAW. Now, what is pretty cool is apparently they're doing things kind of like those Lytro cameras did a few years ago, where you can change your depth of field and your focusing in post, if I'm understanding the video correctly. And now that's going to be something that's really big. Not quite hit the pro market yet. I don't know if that will ever hit the pro market with the data involved to do that, but that is a pretty cool feature. So sorry, it says my Wi-Fi connection failed for a second. But anyways, let's move on to the next part of today's show, which is live streaming on the ZV1. So as you can see, I am here on the ZV1 today. I've been trying to figure out how to live stream from this camera because they do have a USB port on this camera that lets you use it as a webcam. But when you do so and you hook it up to your computer, the quality is just absolute garbage, which is kind of like, I don't even understand why they gave you that option to do it. So what I ended up having to do was I have the HDMI port hooked up to an HDMI the Elgato Cam Link capture card, and by doing that, I'm actually getting pretty decent video quality into the computer. So I guess what I wanted to come out here to let everyone know is if you have a ZV1 and you are interested in using the live stream capabilities, definitely do not use the USB option. I would absolutely use an HDMI capture card with an HDMI out of this camera. It's a really good camera. I'm actually going to be doing a review on the ZV1 soon. I've worked on it over the past few days. I still have a little bit left on it, but there will be content on that soon. So if you're interested in the ZV1, stay tuned, because the camera that Sony came out with, the the EV10 or E10, I don't even remember the name. We thought that it was going to be the next step past the ZV1, and it ended up being taking some of the features from the ZV1, but being something kind of different. But yeah, that's going to be it for today's episode. Wanted to keep it nice, short, and basically let you know if you missed anything from the Apple keynote that happened today. And really, as a filmmaker, I don't really think we missed much other than the fact that ProRes is coming to the Apple iPhone 13 Pro. So if you guys have any questions, as normal, please feel free to put them in the comments below. And if you got knowledge out of today's video, please feel free to hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell on YouTube. We were live on Facebook today just because this is kind of like the middle of the day, a really weird time to be streaming, but it is when I decided to do it. So until next time, thank you everyone for watching. My name's Jeff Fagan, and I will see you in the next video.